Good morning, everyone who is watching via Facebook Live. Welcome to It's Time to Build virtual series. This is a free online virtual webinar, and this is our final one. I'm so sad. This is part three. If you have been there from the beginning, you know that you have heard some phenomenal information. I myself have taken many notes and walked away with so many nuggets from these amazing entrepreneurs, these amazing business owners who are really killing the game out here in New England and beyond. These folks are not just local. I want you to know I only bring in the best of the best, the cream of the crop. And because they love me, they're here to love on y'all. Okay. So my name is Shawnee Speaks. I am your relationship expert. I help folks learn how to build, maintain, and sustain healthy relationships. And if you ever need any help in helping yourself, in your family, in your workplace, hit me up. I'm your girl. But today, this is not about me. This is totally about this webinar series. This is totally about the folks who have decided to come here to pour into all of you, to help you. If you have started a business and you're looking to legitimize your business, this is where you want to be today. So don't be selfish. Please share the live, because somebody that's on your timeline that is not on my timeline really needs to hear this information so that they can move forward and do and be the person that they desire and dream to be. So first, I'm going to introduce to you my friend, Janelle Clarke-Holley. She goes by Mrs. JC Holly, and you will hear me call her Mrs. Clark. I know I'm going to do it, and I'm going to apologize for doing it. And so, and then we also have Mr. Phillip A.K. I'm getting it right this time, sirs. Phillip A.K. He is a serial entrepreneur, and he's absolutely here to bless us with some gems. So I'm just going to ask you guys to go ahead, jump in, introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Ladies first, Janelle.
All right. Well, welcome, everyone. I am so excited to be here with you and to really continue to support you, propel you into the level of success. So I am Janelle Clarke-Holley, and I truly have the distinct pleasure to serve individuals who are looking to really remove roadblocks blocking their success and success in the relationship they have with themselves, with others, and with their business. So today I am here. Make sure you have your pen, your paper, because we really want to make sure that as you guys move to legitimize and strengthen that relationship you have with your business, that you're getting some of these nuggets and tips and tools to be able to walk away with. So it is my honor to be here, and I'm thankful for both God for giving me this information, and always for Shondell for providing the platform.
Thank you so much, Janelle. Phillip?
Okay, so my name is Phillip A.K. I help entrepreneurs around the country start, launching, grow their businesses. And one thing I want to say, I'm definitely grateful for being here. I'm grateful for this platform that Shondell has created. And, I'm just ready, And if you're watching this, just make sure you have a pen and some paper. I'm telling you guys, listen, if you're somebody who can execute the information, you're going to immediately see results in your life, because we're about to give you something for free that a lot of people charge you thousands for. And I'm done speaking.
Absolutely. So I want you guys to know that please go ahead. Please feel free to write your questions and comments in the chat. If you're joining us via Zoom, you have the opportunity to ask these amazing individuals questions live. So if you are joining us via Zoom, please make sure that you have your pen, your paper, because when we open up the Q&A, it is your time. So if you're watching via Facebook Live, remember that you could write your comments and questions in the chat, and I'm actively monitoring the comments on Facebook. So who's going to go first? And however you guys want to dialogue, it's totally up to you. But I know that we have a little bit of time and a lot of information. So let's get started.
Phillip, would you like to go? Do you want me to go? We do a nice dance. We did a nice dance last week. So you tell me how you want this to begin.
Hey, ladies first.
Right. So, today we really want to come to talk to you guys about those of you who've been out here hustling, doing things, and not really having it legitimate. And we really want to talk to you today about how do you move from all of these things that you're gifted in, because doing the hustle, you're an entrepreneur, right? So we recognize that, but how do we legitimize that so that we have the opportunity to really be able to build and strengthen wealth? I always encourage my clients to figure out, how do we make sure you're making money even when you're sleeping, right? Because money is always there to be made. So we want to really make sure that some of the things that I talked about last week were, how do you map it out? How do you ensure you have that mindset that allows you to think like not an employee, but an entrepreneur, right? So that's critical. The second thing is, what actions are you taking? And understand, when we talk about the actions that you're taking, I don't want you, and I really want to promote that we want to get to a place where we don't feel like we have to do it all. So one of the things that I work with individuals who I get to support with is thinking about who needs to be on your staff. Often when we're starting these businesses, we come in with this mindset of, I have to do it all. Well, figure out what your giftedness is, figure out what your purpose is, and then determine who you need to hire to do the other areas that you can learn. But again, the time that you take to learn, you are missing out on opportunities to make fun. So really thinking about, what are the actions that you need to take? And then having that plan. I spoke about that last week. What is your actual plan? So that you're not out here every time you hear something. Again, Phillip will talk to you about just the various entrepreneurial endeavors that he has been successful in. But one of the things that he has done throughout his time is, you go ahead and you narrow in on one thing. Because what you don't want to do is, as soon as you start a business, on Monday, you're doing fish fries. On Tuesdays, you're selling clothes. On Wednesdays, you're cleaning houses, right? Because people don't even know when to call you. So really figure out who it is that you want to serve. Figure out where your giftedness, and make sure you have that plan. Because as you legitimize, again, I know that Phillip has shared with you some snippets last week about how do you create your LLC. And for us, the reason those things are so important is because when you are a legitimate business, it allows you to have access to legitimate money outside of your own and outside of your clients. So I'm going to pause there, because I want to make sure that as I do this two-step with my partner, that I allow him to lead me on the dance floor as well. So Phillip, I'm going to toss it to you.
All right. So one thing I'm gonna say, if you're watching this right now, you might be like, hey, I don't know where to start, right? And I just want to give y'all a few statistics. We was talking about this earlier, right? So about 42% of all businesses that start in their first year, they fail because the product or service they're offering is not in need. And about 27% fail because they lack funding, and another 23% fail because they lack leadership skills. And I'm telling you guys to say this because when you get started, you want to do something that's a need, right? You want to understand, you want to test the market and see if the product or service you're offering is actually a need. There's things that are not too cute that people don't want to do, that's literally making $1 million in the worst neighborhoods. Why? Because it's a need, right? You see laundry mats on every block because it's a need. You see dry cleaners. You see cleaning companies, cleaning services. Everybody needs a house. It's a need. Like, you know the Bible, right? Paul was a tent maker. Like, literally, he was into real estate. he didn't have to come for the tithe because he was a tent maker, right? That's a need, right? You got Matthew. He was a tax collector. Your boy was a captain, right? So we've been doing taxes since Jesus was walking the earth. That's a need, right? So those things are needs. Like, you want to create some type of business, something that's going to be a need, because you're going to have to do little to no marketing to generate sales for those type of businesses. I'm seeing a lot of people, they start up, they're like, yo, I want a t-shirt brand. I want to do that. That's cool. But understand, that's going to take time for you to build that brand. And it's not necessarily a need, right? You might spend a lot of years, a lot of time trying to get it up and running, versus if you go invest in real estate, you got multi-properties, right? Let me tell you guys, right? I own apartments. So whenever I put it up on the market, I get 100 applications immediately. I never have to wonder, like if I could fill this spot, right? I have a lot of people to choose from, right? Because it's a need. Like, as long as people are living, well, they're gonna need a roof over their head, right? Having an electricity company, these type of things, those are need-based businesses. So if you're just getting started, the first thing you want to do, you want to decide what type of business you want to start. And if you don't know where to start, choose something that's a need. If your vision is to have a clothing company, that's cool. But if you have a need-based business, that's going to allow you to generate enough income, right, to take care of you and your family. And now you can pursue those passions, right? You can pursue those passions. So that's one thing. I'm not going to give y'all too much, but that's one thing I want you to figure out, right? If you don't know where to start with something that's a need. Tax preparation, construction, real estate, right. I need cleaning services, right? Anything that you know that people cannot live without. It's a necessity. That's a place where you should start. And I'm done speaking.
Awesome. I love that, Phillip. I love what you and Janelle just both drop, like major fire in the first 5 minutes of the daggone webinar. Okay. So Janelle, you said that folks need to ask themselves, what is their plan? And in regards to what is your plan, you also said, who are you and who do you want to serve? So that's all part of the plan, is actually knowing who you are and knowing who do you want to serve, like who's your client base. I know that when I do my workshops and stuff, I tell women, who is your avatar? Who is your client avatar? Who is the person that you are looking for? Who do you want to be your client? And so that is very important. We can't think that we're going to serve the world. Like, we have to learn how to hone in on who it is that we want to serve. And I want you to jump in there, and can you explain a little bit about how folks should really design that plan of who it is that they want to serve?
Absolutely. So I'm going to break it down. And I'm going to talk slow, right? Because my traditional training is I'm an educator. So, right. So I want to make sure that my students are listening to me. I want to make sure that you guys are engaged, because I'm going to share with you a lot, and I'm going to speak as slow as I can, because I'm from New York. So I have a tendency to move at a rapid pace, because everything in New York is fast. Right. So I'm going to intentionally slow myself down to the South. Right. The first thing is the value in understanding, and some of the steps is identifying who your ideal client. Again, for those of us who are in the industry, we know, we recognize them, we call them our avatars. But a lot of people look at demographics, right? What color they are, how much money do they make, the education level, are they married? Those are demographics, right? One of the things that I encourage the clients that I work with to do is to begin to look at people's psychographics, really get to know them. And I do this in one of the programs that I have, where I literally share my avatar. My avatar has a name. Madison is her name. So when I'm talking to people, when I'm doing the things that I do, I'm talking to Madison. But everyone who comes through my program always says to me, I felt like you were sharing my business. I encourage people to where I clutch my pearls, because so many people say to me, Janelle, I feel like you were talking to me personally. And the reason that they feel that way is because I know everything there is to know about Madison. I know Madison ice cream. I know everything about Madison. And it takes time, right? Because again, when I first started this process, I focused in and I was like, women, you got to go deeper than that, right? Is she white? Is she Black? Is she middle-aged? Is she young? When I tell you, I know too much about Madison, right? I know when Madison, gave herself in love, y'all can read between the lines. I know everything there is to know about Madison. I know when Madison is happy, when she's sad, what are the triggers that she has, everything it is. So that way, when I market, when I speak to, when I produce anything that I do, I'm speaking directly to her. I know that she doesn't have a lot of time. She is a successful person. She is looking to go ahead and to have success and have it at a propelled rate. So those are the people who I'm constantly speaking to. But do understand this: everyone wants success. So oftentimes people come into it with an understanding that if I get that narrow, Janelle, am I missing out on funds? Am I missing out on opportunities to work with other people? Absolutely not. Because again, I am zeroing into my Madison, but that doesn't mean that if Madison is working with me and Keisha is nearby, Mary's nearby, and they hear the things that are beneficial to them, they can find themselves in that same thing. So I really encourage people to not just look at demographics, look at psychographics and really almost paint a picture so that you feel like your best friend is your ideal client. So really do that. And then thinking about the strategic plan, as you know that, as you also get to know who you are. So while you do this for your ideal client, who does your ideal client need to serve them? And do I have what it takes to serve this individual? So that's why I say it's a both and, because you have to know who you are. What are your ethics? What are your beliefs? What are your own values so that you're not promising and not being true to yourself, because that becomes very taxing on you as an entrepreneur when you're chasing the dollar versus chasing your passion, chasing and really stepping into what your purpose is. So again, get deep in spending the time, not just surface level. Really get to know who you want to serve ideally as a customer, and really be true to know who you are as an entrepreneur, who you are as a CEO. It's going to be critical for your success. And with that, I am complete.
Thank you so much for that. I'm writing, I'm taking notes, I'm putting in the chat. So, Phillip, I loved when you said, when you asked us, is your product or service a need? Because I feel like when we're in love with the idea that we have, we think it's so important to us, right? So I have a significant brand t-shirt line, and I have hats now, I have hoodies now, and it's so important to me. But when you said that the product or service, if it's not a need, it's a possibility that it can fail. Can you talk to us about why, or maybe can you talk to us about why sometimes our ideas might really need to, and I'm just laughing because this is me, it might need to just take a step back until the need is elevated? Can you touch on that?
Yes, yeah. So I want people to understand, like, you gotta think about like this. For example, if you have a t-shirt brand, right? Like, yeah, we need clothes, but there's clothes everywhere. Like, we can easily get, if we go to the store and get a $5 pair of shirt. Well, why your clothes? You get what I'm saying? But when I say need, right? Needs are things that you cannot live without. Like, you have to have it, regardless if you don't want to pay for it or not. These are things you have to have. Like, we have to wash clothes or our clothes gonna be dirty, right? We have to pay our taxes or the IRS gonna come, the feds gonna kick down our door, right? Right? So we have to do these things regardless if we want to pay for it or not, right? It's a pain point, it's a need, right? Versus clothes, like, we don't have to shop. We can literally go with the same. Some people will literally stick with their same wardrobe for years, like sometimes. So I would say that's why I tell people, right, when you look at businesses like that, you gotta view it as a passion, like a passion-based business, something you're passionate about, right? And you gotta understand that definitely that right there is gonna take, to build that up sometimes, it's gonna take a lot of patience, it's gonna take a lot of time. It might not make a lot of money at first, right? So you always want to have, if you don't have a need-based business, you want to have a skill that you can monetize while you build that business, right? So you can be able to feed your family, so you can be able to take care of your family and do what you got to do, but at the same time build your passion, right? Build your passion-based business, right? Because a lot of t-shirt businesses, a lot of these clothing lines don't really last long, right? Some people give up, but just imagine if you had the real estate, right? You had investment properties that was taking care of your family, right? You had things that was already taking care of your family, and you had the time and energy to continue to brand your company, because that's a very important part. Like, people overlook it. Like, those type of companies, if you study companies like Nike, for example, I say this all the time, people don't realize that Nike don't even sell. Like they make sales, but they don't sell, right? They market through storytelling. You might see Nike sign new athletes, right? And their main focus literally is telling other people's stories. They'll take those athletes, talk about maybe Joe came from Africa from a refugee camp and he played ball every single day and he was able to make it to the NBA, right? Now they're getting into people's emotions. They're invested in that person's story. But at the same time, in the background, you might see Nike logos, right? You might see it everywhere, right? And Nike strategically moves like that. They consistently brand, they consistently put themselves in front of people, right? But it takes time to get to that point. But when you have a need, you're just starting out. When you have those need-based businesses, it doesn't take that much time compared to what it is to build like a clothing line, because it's a need. You literally, if you somebody who does taxes, you literally can go on Facebook and ask who needs their taxes done during tax season. At least one person's gonna message you. At least one person's gonna message you because somebody's gonna need to do those taxes, right? They don't have to decide, oh, which brand should I go to? Should I go to Fashion Nova? They don't gotta decide that. They just know they gotta pay those taxes. But and another thing I want to say, I love what Janelle was saying. You want to understand who your avatar is, your ideal customer. My ideal customer, his name is Daquan. I gave him a name too. let me tell y'all, right? And I really focus on helping minority entrepreneurs mainly. I help people outside that, of course, but I help minority entrepreneurs start, launch, and grow their businesses and scale with little to no following or capital up front. Because I understand that a lot of minorities getting into the business world, you know, they hear Black-owned business, they think it's cool, but at the same time, they get scared to jump in because they don't have the funds to bring their ideas to life, right? So that's one of my things I try to do. I try to help educate them and teach them how they can get the funding they need, how they can start building their business credit, and how they can apply for grants so they can have something to help them launch and get started. And I also try to teach them how to bootstrap. For those of you who know what bootstrapping is, it's pretty much just advertising and marketing with little to no money. So the way I bootstrap is strictly social media. So I show them how to become more visible, just utilizing social media. And once they identify their ideal customer, their ideal audience, I teach them to go where they're at. Go to where your ideal customer, your audience is at. You literally can have 100 followers, right? But if you know your ideal audience is following a specific person, a specific page, you can pay to promote your products on there. And most of the time it's not that much money, right? You know your ideal customer is there. So now you can put your product in front of them, right? That's a strategy. This Facebook group's literally where your ideal customer is at. Like literally, they hang out there. So I tell people, go in those groups and add value. Focus on giving tips and tricks in that niche, that specific area. So if you're in a group that specifically focus around hair, go in that group and tell people, give people like 5 different hair products you should use before you throw a wig on, right? Add value to these people, communicate with these people, right? Build those connections, those relationships. Because what's going to end up happening is once you build those connections and relationships, people are going to look at you as that authority figure, that expert in that area, right? They're going to want to work with you. They're going to tell their friends about you like, hey, this person helped me out. They gave me these tips. I tried it and it worked, right? So once you figure out who your ideal audience is, that right there is going to be, that's something that's going to be very helpful. It's going to be very important. But yeah, I know I gave so much, but I am done speaking. Let me stop. I hope y'all taking notes.
If they ain't taking notes, I'm taking notes for them, Phillip and Janelle. My fingers is typing like crazy over here. So I have a question for Janelle. Sorry. I hope that this isn't like off topic, but I want to kind of ask if we could touch a little bit on self-motivation and like what that looks like or the lack thereof, why so many people just have hustles and they're not turning them into legitimate businesses. Can either one of you touch on that? Janelle first.
Sure. First, that's my sweet spot, right? Because so often people don't have that mindset. And that's why for me, the mindset is so critical, because often The reason that people don't legitimize is because they don't think that they have enough knowledge, enough experience, enough know-how to legitimize. So often, one of the things that I do, and anybody who's interested, reach out to me, I'll send it to you, is I have daily affirmations, where one of the things that I really hold up is begin your day grateful, right? So one of the things, and I want to go back to something that we talked about earlier, Shondell, about the t-shirt business, is also it's about systemizing. So the mindset, if we're thinking about t-shirt businesses, how do I systemize this? So how do I not feel like I have to design the t-shirts? I have to trademark the t-shirts, because understand, when we start to get into legitimate businesses, we don't think about trademarks. We don't think about who are some of the people. And that's why having a plan is so important. Because if you have a brand, right? I'm aware of one particular young lady who has the brand trademarked, I am her. So when anyone else uses her particular brand, I am her, she now has a trademark, so she can send her attorneys after them. And now she's getting paid, not even selling any t-shirts, because people are using her brand. So it's so important to have some of those things legitimate. But that's when you start to move into that mind space about, I'm not just somebody who's out here who's hustling. I am a CEO. I am a legit mental person who is out here doing this, right? And I'm doing it where I'm starting to have a team. So I'm not trying to impress people about, yes, I have an attorney on hand. Yes, I have an accountant on hand. This is because part of my plan has educated me to begin to recognize that I'm worthy of that. So one affirmation that I really want people to hold up to, and I push this with my clients, is only accept what you expect, because people will always do what you allow them to do, right? So I want you to hold that nugget. You have to get to a place where when you get to that level of only accepting what you expect, and you have high expectations, it propels, it launches you further into your success. So really starting with that mindset about, how do I begin to start my day from the moment I wake up, right? I love Christian music, and it talks, I was listening the other day as I was driving to New York. All around me, all I see is blessings on blessings on blessings. From the moment you open your eyes in the morning, guess what? Blessing popped up. Hello, right? Blessing there. Because you have now another opportunity to walk in your brilliance. And understanding that, I said this last week, and hold on to it. Every single person who is listening to us live on the replay, you are one of a kind. So when you start to move into and accept your brilliance, when you move into that space that you understand, you were designed for a purpose. You were designed to be brilliant and to shine on this world before your time here ends. And I encourage everyone not to take your last breath not having accomplished and given all that you have to leave this world better than when you came into it. So the mindset and really understanding that is, how are you being intentional with how you spend the 24 hours you get, that every person, the richest person to the poorest person, we all get the same 24. So our mindset is really going to allow us to really determine how we leverage that. So systemize some of these systems so that you're in that mind space where you recognize there is value that you give by hiring other people, so that your t-shirts, people can go online and purchase them. They don't need to call you. They don't need to text you. The system is there for you, right? That you're working with potentially a company that when people are ordering, they are processing it and sending it through for you. So that becomes an entity that you don't have to be so intimately connected with, and you're allowing yourself to flourish in some of these other areas where your brilliance can shine. So with that, because again, y'all can see me and Phillip out here trying to give you everything we got in the shortest time possible. So with that, I will step down. I am complete.
Thank you, Janelle. Before we go over to Phillip, I just want to make sure that I had your quote right. You said only accept what
you expect.
Okay, thank you. I didn't want to type that backwards because
yes,
it was it was kicking in. Phillip.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I just want to touch on what Janelle said. I'm gonna give y'all some steps. I hope y'all writing this down. If you're watching this right now, right? This is what you want to do when you get started. I'm gonna give it to you step by step, right? So the first thing you want to do, decide what business to start. If you're just getting started, you don't have no investments, you don't have any other businesses on any sources of income, make sure it's a need. Make sure it's a need, right? And the second thing you want to do is write a plan, right? You want to write a plan. You don't want to blindly go into business and start winging things. Like, how are you going to market this business? Like, how are you going to get the sales? You want to write this plan, right? You want to write what you think is not gonna come out of this business. And of course, everything ain't gonna go as planned, but it's good to have some type of guidance, right? Some type of goals set in place, right? That's the second thing you want to do, right? The third thing you want to do is you want to validate the idea, right? So you want to test the market. You want to go out there, ask people questions, like figure out what people's pain points are, what they need. If you have a service-based business, do free consultations and listen to people, listen to what they're struggling the most, make a business out of that, right? Literally, right? If you see that somebody's consistently having the same problem, make sure your business solves that problem in your niche, in your industry, right? So another thing you want to do after you do the market research, you validate the idea, you're going to set up your finances. You want to set up your finances. That means you want to make sure you have a business bank account. You want to do that, right? On my Instagram, I gave a list of everything you need to do to get that business bank account. If you don't have it, just make sure you follow me and DM me. I'll send you that list. So you want to make sure you have a business bank account, right? After you get the business bank account, you want to start establishing business credit. So you're going to go get something called DUNS number, right? DUNS. I'm from Duns and Bradstreet. This is the oldest business credit reporting bureau for businesses. You want to make sure you have that DUNS number and the EIN and the DUNS number. So you're going to go to dnb.com, Duns and Bradstreet, and grab that. That's going to help you to start establishing that business credit, right? And if you don't have funding up front, one thing I'm gonna give y'all 3 places you can start, right, with the business credit. I'm gonna just give it to y'all, right, and now I'm gonna move forward, right? So you got places like Granger, Uline, and Quill. All 3 of these places will give you something called vendor credit. So if you pay more than $50 for their stuff, what pretty much will end up happening is they'll send you an invoice that you don't have to pay to like 30 days after the fact you order their stuff. This is called Net 30 account, right? So you utilize that to build you register your account with them, then utilize that to build your business credit. Another thing you want to do, start building your business credit, you want to get a gas card. So you can go to somewhere like CircleK.com. Once you register your business, go CircleK.com and go get a gas card. So whenever you driving around or you have to do anything for your business, just use that gas card, get that business credit going, right? Those are 4 places you can start. That's 4 trade lines. And when you get to a place where you have like between 10 to 14 trade lines, that's when you could actually start leasing vehicles under your business name on business credit without your actual personal credit. So that's somewhere to start. So set up your finances. I ain't gonna go too deep, but I'm gonna keep going with the list, right? So the 6th thing you want to do, you want to build a sales machine. You want to have something I call like a sales funnel, right? A sales funnel. You want to have some type of sales funnel. I'm gonna break it down. There's 4 levels to the sales funnel, right? From the first level going down to the 4th level, the sales funnel gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So what it pretty much does is, as you go down the levels, is filtering people that's not your ideal customer, people who are not that serious. And this is what the sales funnel will look like, right? Picture an upside down triangle, right? Big on the top, small on the bottom, like a funnel you're gonna pour oil in. Picture that, right? So at the very top of that funnel, number 1 level is gonna be awareness. This is your cell phone, it's gonna be awareness. You gotta figure out how you can create awareness for your business. That can be social media marketing, right? Content creation on social media to consistently bring that awareness in. That could be Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads. This can bring awareness to your business. That can even be putting your business on a billboard, right? That's bringing awareness, right? Affiliate marketing. You want to figure out how you can bring awareness to your business, right? And if you don't know how, get a marketing consultant, an advertising consultant, somebody can help you with that, right? The 2nd level is going to be leads, right? You want to have some type of lead magnet. Once you got that awareness, you need to have a call to action that's going to send the people somewhere that's going to capture them as a lead. That's going to give you their name, email, or number, right? You want to have their information. I always say this, right? The entrepreneur with the most data wins, literally all the time. The entrepreneur with the most data wins, right? So now you got those leads, right? The way you can get those leads, right? After you build that awareness, build something called a lead magnet, where you give something to someone for free in exchange for their information. This could be a webinar, right? A virtual class. We're on Zoom right now. You can have people sign up to come on, right? But they have to give their email and number. They have to give that email and number, right? So, or you can do something like an ebook. Give them a free ebook, right? And you can give them that ebook, but in exchange for it, you have to type in your email, name, and number. You got to type in your email, name, and number, right? Now you will lead. So that's how you're going to generate leads. Ebook, webinar, free consultations. When they book on your calendar, they have to type in their email and number. Now you got their data. Now they became a lead. You want to figure out how you can get them as a lead. If you have a product, give off discounts, 50% off, or buy one, get one free. Get their information in exchange for that discount. Now you got them as a lead, right? That's an example. That's level 2. You got a lead. Then you go down to level 3, right? This is filter out through the people, because once people are aware, you have a call to action, lead them to the lead. You're going to see that most of the people are not going to go that far. But for the ones that go that far, you got them now. And now they're at level 3, they're a prospect, right? Now they consider a prospect. This is where you nurture them. You build a relationship with them. If you have their email, right? You want to have some type of email sequences that's going to tell who you are, what you do, how you do it, who you do it for, and how you learned how to do it, or how you earned how to do it. And you want to end it off with another email after that and give them an offer, right? That's like a 6 sequence of emails you can do throughout 6 days. So by the 6th day, they know who you are and they have an offer, right? So you nurture them through the email, right? Or if they're just following you, you want to consistently give them quality content that's going to put you in a position where you're an authority figure, where they know, they feel they can trust you and they know you know what you're doing. So you want to give them tips in your industry, right? You want to give them actionable steps they can take and actually see results, right? That's going to nurture them as a prospect, right? If they're following you, right? They're already lead, they're following you, they're a prospect. You do that consistently and they end up going to the 4th level, which is called sale. They convert to sales. They turn into currency. Literally, that's a sales machine right there. And you want to figure out a way you can automate that whole process, right? You want to figure out a way how you can house that whole process. I'm gonna give you a quick example, right? So for me, social media, right? You got the social media, I'll create content. That's awareness, right? Then I'll tell them, click the link in the bio, book a consultation. I got the information. Now they're a lead, right? Now I'm consistently creating content tailored to that specific person. So they're becoming hot now. They're becoming hot. They know I know what I'm doing. They're taking the free actionable steps I'm giving them and they're seeing this working. And what ends up happening is they end up buying the ebook from me, or they end up booking for a paid consultation or whatever the case may be, and they convert into a sale, right? It's literally that simple, but you want to have some type of sales machine, right? And that's step number 6, right? And then number 7 is you want to figure out, once you got that system in place, you want to figure out how you can become more visible, whether it's create more content, pay for more advertisement with the profits you have. You want to use that money to become more visible. And then going to step 8, you want to start building a team, right? Now that you got that system in place, now that you're starting to make that money, it's time to start building the team. It's time to start hiring people. And so you can have more time. You can buy your time back. Hire somebody for marketing, hire somebody for sales, hire somebody for social media management, right? Let them do those things so you have more time on your hands to focus on growing and scaling the business. But you cannot grow and scale by yourself. But that's an 8-step process that you guys can take if you are just getting started. There's a system for you. And if you're watching this, make sure you take, if you're not taking notes, make sure you re-watch this and follow each step by step. And I'm telling you, just do that and you have a business right there.
Come on now. Shoot, let me tell you something. This webinar is only going to stay up for 1 week. So I'm taking notes for y'all. I'm putting them on the chat. Like, I can't. Phillip was going so hard that I was like, you know what? If they ain't taking notes by now, I don't know what to tell them. He just gave you all He just gave us an 8-step actionable plan to start a business, to literally convert your hustle into a legitimate business. He just told us how to get business and established business credit. He is letting us know how to get the dollars so that we can do what it is that we have been called to do. Like, my mind is just blown. I couldn't do both, Philip. I'm sorry. I couldn't take the notes on the chat in for myself. I'm being selfish in this moment. I had to write my own notes. Yes, y'all, this is my webinar. I could go back and watch it anytime I want, but still, I am in the moment, and you should be too. You should be sharing this information with your people, We have a few minutes left. We do not have any questions in the chat yet. And I'm telling you, when y'all please follow Philip and Janelle. Follow them on Instagram. Well, I don't think Janelle's on Instagram, but she's definitely on Twitter, and she has a website. Philip's everywhere. He's everywhere. So you could follow him. I'm going to put their information in the chat. Any final thoughts before we wrap up? Is there anything that you guys want to share that you feel like is imperative to close up this webinar?
So I would say, as people create goals, one of the things that I encourage people to do is to make sure that they're smart, right? And what I mean by that is, are they specific? Because so often our goal is to make $1 million by the end of the first year. Get really specific about really working backwards. So if you're seeking to make $1 million, know how much money you're going to need to make a month, know how much money you're going to need to make a week, know how much money you're going to need to make a day. So this way you can determine if you're off on a day, exactly what you need to do on the next day, right? So often we have these lofty goals. I really want people to get down to be specific. And are they measurable? How do you know that you're working towards reaching your goal? So make sure that they're measurable. Are they attainable? So if you know that in the last few years, you've been doing this as a side hustle and you've made, let's say, $50 as a profit by the end of each year, to now say that you want to make $1 billion, is it attainable? Anything is possible, but is it likely to happen? So really make sure as you think about your goals, you're holding up, is it attainable? Is it relevant? Going back to that need. Is it something that's going to have an impact? So often people will have these entities that aren't connected. And that's why I encourage people to know, what's your mission? Where's your vision? Where do you see yourself, your company, your brand in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years? Because if you're able to connect it, so now when Shondell talked about, she deals with the relationships. Again, now if she's connecting her brand for her t-shirts, her brand for her hoodies, her brand for everything that she's marketing through that same funnel, that allows you to have those repeat customers as you think about that funnel. So yes, you've been able to service them in one capacity, but now are they wearing your brands? Are they going ahead and committing to some of those areas? So now it doesn't seem like there's isolation and there's these random things. There's that thorough connection to show the relevancy. And is it timely? Because if you say you want to do something and you don't have any sense of urgency, again, with that goal is something that I want to lose 10 pounds in 10 years. There's no rush. There's no urgency. There's no fire that's going to get under you. So really making sure your goals have those particular 5 elements. Are they specific? Can you measure them? Is it something you can attain? And attain is not just you exclusively. Attainment is you and your team. Is it relevant? Is there that need? And what's the time frame you're giving yourself to do that? So really, as you move into this next entity, really making sure you have those goals, you have them strong so that you can go ahead and succeed, because all of us can succeed if we follow these items. With that, I am complete.
Wow. Philip, jump right in.
Yeah. So I would say it's like one of the mistakes I've made, like starting a salon at 23 and a wig company, was like not seeking mentorship. So you want to make sure you seek some type of mentorship, because everything I'm giving y'all, it took me years to learn this on my own. But if I had a mentor that would have taught me and gave me everything I gave y'all in one day, that would have shortcutted that whole process. Like I would have been able to scale a lot faster and do a lot more. Another thing I would say is people overlook this, but I want you to understand, when you're just getting started in business, Your first year in business, you can write off up to $5,000 in business startup costs on your taxes, right? And you can even write off your consultant. So if you pay a consultant to help you get up and running, you can write that off by your taxes, right? And that's going to shortcut your whole process, allow you to scale a lot faster, allow you to start booking business. So that's why I'm telling you guys, like, listen, seek mentorship. If everything we give you today is too much, seek mentorship. They will guide you through the steps one by one at your pace, right? They'll walk with you. They'll hold your hand throughout the process. So seek some mentorship. That's going to help you shortcut the process, start booking businesses, start structuring your business the right way up front. So you'll be able to be ready to scale very quickly and fast. Like, and that's the key. Like, if your structure ain't right, it's hard to scale. When you want a rocky foundation, right? When your foundation ain't right, it's hard to scale, right? But if you have somebody who can put that together, that can help you build that sales funnel, that can help you put out that marketing campaign, that can help you identify your ideal customer and do all these things up front, it's going to make your life so much more easier. It's going to help you avoid a lot of headaches, a lot of restless nights, a lot of putting in like 80 hours a week, trying to learn and figure things out. It's going to make things a lot easier. But that's one thing I want to say, seek mentorship. If you don't know where to start, seek mentorship. And even if you do know where to start, seek mentorship, right? Seek mentorship. It's still going to make your life easy because you don't know what you don't know, and they will give you what you don't know. So that's what I got to say. And
absolutely. I agree 1,000%. Every great mentor has a mentor, and every great coach has a coach. So I don't think that any of us are too high in position to have a mentor or a coach to be able to do what it is that we got to do and to get to the next level. So I truly appreciate that. Okay, are we about to close? We have a few more minutes, but it's up to you guys. I feel like you all dropped a lot of gems. I feel like this is a lot of information for 1 hour. And I feel like folks should go back and watch again. That's what I feel. And I feel like y'all should be following these two. I didn't say it in the beginning of the live stream, but like last week, if you guys have it on your heart to sow into these two, I put my Cash App there. If you want to sow to them directly, reach out to them. And just give them a little love offering for the amount of time that they shared with us, for all of the information that they poured out to you on today. If there was one thing that you received and you felt like it's going to help you start your business, I would say reach out. I would say sow a seed. Why? The reason why I'm so big on sowing seeds is because you can't expect someone to invest in you if you're not willing to invest in anyone. And let me tell y'all, I have been to seminars in person and online that doesn't give out this much information. And it's hundreds of dollars for a third of this information. And let me tell you something. I've been to webinars where in-person events where people don't even know what they're talking about. So could you imagine, not doing your due diligence, or doing your due diligence and then still feeling lost? I'm only providing you guys with people who I know in this industry who are killing the game. I would never bring you people who are not actually living what it is that they're talking about. So feel free to sow a seed. My Cash App is on the Facebook Live. It is $ Shawnee Speaks 1121. And I feel like we're at time. I feel like y'all are just amazing. And I'm going to let you redeem your time, like Mama Maxine says, and give y'all back your 5 minutes.
Before you do that, I do want to leave everyone with this. Don't break before your breakthrough, because as you do this business, there's going to be times where you feel like, is it worth it? It's so saturated what it is that I want to do. I know that I'm providing a need, but I don't feel like it's being met. I am telling you, the only way you can guarantee that you won't reach your breakthrough is if you quit. So do not break. Reach out, lean on your mentors, connect with people, have those people to help you through those moments, because remember, your breakthrough, it's coming. So don't break before the breakthrough happens.
I love that. Phillip, do you have a last word?
No, I don't have no last words, but I'm definitely grateful for being here, and I just hope I just hope people, just whoever watching this, they implement the information because it works. Like I gave somebody the same information a week ago on Clubhouse. They applied it, and it worked for them. They started getting lines of credit. Did the same thing on Instagram. They applied it, and it worked for them. They got lines of credit. And they was able to start building their business. So the one thing I want to do, like for me to make this worth it, for me to come here, is for the people listening to this to actually execute on the information and see the results. Then that lets me know that at least, yeah, me being here is not in vain. Somebody learned something. They was able to do something that changed their life, and maybe even pass that on to another person, especially in the minority community, because for us, we don't know these things. But in other communities, they learn this at home. So for me, if they can just execute the information, that's enough for me. Like that's just, I did my job. But that's it.
I love it. I love it. So guys, when you execute, because you're going to execute, you didn't spend an hour here not to. So when you execute the information that was provided here, you execute upon your vision, please make sure to reach out to these two and let them know that the gems that they dropped on today helped you. Just say a simple thank you, and that simple thank you goes a long way. Like Phillip said, none of us want to do this work in vain. We're doing this work because we understand that the Black and minority community needs this information. And it's very important that we elevate as a community, because just because on this side of your skin, this side of your skin doesn't mean anything. You could still have the same benefits if your skin on the other side was this. So remember that. I say that all the time. I'm like, look, this is powerful. This is so powerful, and we have to understand how powerful we are as a collective. So I love you all. I thank you guys for spending time with us. Please share this live video. It's your girl, Shawnee Speaks. Peace. Woo. Thank you guys so much.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
I'm so full. I don't know about them, but I am just so full. Like it was really amazing. So I'm hoping that, I'm always hopeful that even if people don't speak up right away, that they will, in the future, and that they understand the value that's being provided to them, because I think that it's a rarity for us to do what we're doing. Like it's not normal. And so because it's not normal, they're afraid, and I don't mind saying, like, I've invested money in some things that just did not work, because it was like this big name of someone who perceived to be doing something. And I'm like, bro, you don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, wait, let me stop recording.